And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and it's time for another installment of the tier list series. Let us rank all of the power forwards in NBA 2K22 My Team. I should say not all of them, but like a very, very large majority of them. I think I got like 167 cards to rank in here, so I'm really trying to chalk it down tonight. So let's run it. If you guys have not watched my tier list series already, I'm sorry. You're going to be in the comments probably upset. Let me go through some parameters. S tier, unquestionable best cards in the game. I think the power forward tier list is going to be a little bit weird because I think it's going to be very subjective as far as like what cards you believe should be in S tier, A tier, and B tier. I'm going to try my best to be unbiased, but you know, it's going to be difficult. I feel like there's a couple guys that are definitely going to be up here, but some other ones that are going to be iffy. A tier, just a shade under S tier, and I'll explain why they're there as well. B tier, this is what majority of the community is going to use. These guys are all extremely usable. For certain play styles and on certain gens, you're going to think a guy deserves to be an A tier, but I will try my best to explain why they're there and provide reasons as to why you shouldn't leave mean comments. C tier. They're just okay cards, maybe slightly outdated, maybe just not quite as good as B tier. D tier, all the outdated guys are, I was going to say outdated guys are going to be in here. Anyone that essentially is going to have some pretty massive flaws but still be usable in some capacity is going to be in D tier. F tier, they're not quite trash, but they're close. And trash tier, they're trash. Now look, I try to rank between gens, between as many playstyles as I can think of. So, like I said, try to be a very impartial judge here, but we'll find out. Let's start with Al Harrington, D. I mean, he's all right. He's a sharpshooter, but that's about all you're really getting from Al Harrington. I mean, if you think he deserves to be C tier, sure, but I really don't think anyone's fighting me on Al Harrington, but I could be wrong. Amethyst Anthony Davis, I would put in D tier as well. He's a decent Amethyst card, and he'll be very useful in the future when we have to use Pelicans players for something, but that's about it. So I'd still put him in D tier because he can stretch the floor and rebound really well, but that's about it. Carlos Boozer. My boy Barlos out here. I'm gonna throw him in D tier. I mean, if he's evoed, he can shoot. That's about it though. Carl Malone, A tier, no question. This card is stupid. Like straight up, he's got a massive player build. He's super ripped for no reason. He's very difficult to move around. He can move pretty decent. Actually, his jump shot this year is pretty good. I would say A tier is appropriate for him for now. I may drop him to like the top of B tier. It really just kind of depends. Derek Jones Jr. F. He's not quite trash. He's just really outdated. Kevin Love. I would put him in D tier. He plays okay defense. Like he can rebound pretty well and he shoots, but I don't think he's quite C tier. I don't know. He was at one point, but I don't know if now is the time, especially because you can't upgrade anything on him. So that's a problem. Lowry Markkinen F. I just hate Lowry Markkinen cards in 2K. I mean, if you want to argue that he's D tier, I guess, but I would use Boozer, Harrington, Anthony Davis, and Kevin Love over him. Oh, Rick Barry's trash. They ruined Rick Barry this year. My man was so nasty last year. I just don't understand what they did. Sorry, I actually have two Al Harringtons in here. I just noticed. Kevin Garnett, B. Yeah, I would say B tier. Lockdown defender, great player build, okay jump shot. You guys know what's up with KG at this point. If you're looking for a lockdown defensive power forward and you don't mind taking the offensive hit, KG is fantastic. He's just a little bit overpriced too. That's the other thing. Like for the same price as KG, I just feel like you can get a better power forward. Robert Covington, D. He's just super outdated. He came out in season 2, but if we get another Robert Covington card, he'll be good. Thurl Bailey. I still think this Thurl is like low B tier for sure. I really do. You can't upgrade him, which kind of sucks, but his player build alone. I know some people hate his jump shot. I personally like it, but that's just a personal thing. But his player build alone is crazy. Josh Smith. I'm debating putting him on A. I would say on current gen, he's A tier. He's good on next gen too. I would put him in A tier. Josh Smith is actually really, really good. He can play the small forward, which is huge for him. It's the first one of his cards, I believe, that can. Opal Zion's probably like low C tier. Still usable in some capacity, but not very good. Kurt Rambis, he's better than Rick Barry for sure, but he does objectively suck. Bracket Busters, Tim Duncan. Low B tier. He's still an incredibly good offensive presence. He's decent on the interior. He can't get shooting badges, which is kind of important. But at the same time, like he can shoot from the corners. He plays good defense. He can bang on the interior. He's got a big player build. Yeah, I would put him in B tier for that. John Collins. This card was so heat when he came out, dude. C tier though. I would like another John Collins relatively soon. If he could play a small forward, that'd be cool. Kenyon Martin. Kmart's actually pretty good. He's not worth the lock in. I mean, it depends what it's going for at this point, but B tier, low B tier. Sharif Abdul Rahim, very solid card overall. I haven't run into this card very much, but I would say like low to mid B tier. By the way, I do rank them within each tier. As you can see, people always inevitably get upset because a card they like is at like the top of B tier, and then the card they think sucks is at the bottom of D or B tier. So they get really upset. I rank them within the tier. Just because a card is on the same tier as another card does not mean they're equally ranked. Aaron Gordon, D. Yeah, he's just outdated, but this card is good. I might even put him in C tier. I really like this card. Pink Diamond Larry Bird, I would put in D tier as well. He's just so sluggish, man. But at the same time, he can shoot. It's Larry Bird. Amari Stoudemire, F. This Amari sucks. Pau Gasol. Pau is nasty. I really, really like Pau Gasol. I think part of the reason I really like Pau Gasol is essentially he's like worse power within Tim Duncan, basically. You know what I mean? Pau Gasol plays good defense. He can handle the ball a little bit. You're not going to bring the ball up with him, but he can handle it in a pinch if he needs to. Decent passer, which I feel like people don't talk about in my team a lot, but that's because every card is juiced to the point at this, like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Talking about passing does nothing. This Amari, I would say is C tier. He's just like better John Collins, basically. Ooh, hot take time. AK is C tier. He's just a little bit outdated. We're going to get a new AK, though, at some point, like, inevitably. And he'll be just fine. If you have a badged up AK, he's still, like, B tier somewhere. But I think a stock, regular AK is probably, like, the best card in C tier. Chuma Okiki, I like this card a lot. You could put him in D tier. I just like Chuma. Jerry Lucas, yeah, F. Yeah, he's a day one card. Sean Kemp, I would throw him in like D. This card wasn't really that good when he came out, so Pascal Siakam, F. Just he's a day one card. Pink Diamond Jaren Jackson. This card got slept on pretty fast, but he's still more than usable. He's a very capable card in this game, I would say. He's just outdated. Serge Ibaka. This card is a little bit too close to my heart to put in F tier, so I'm going to put him in D tier. He was my center forever at the beginning of the year. Terry Cummings. Terry Cummings is not too terrible. I would throw him in like low C tier. Just for everyone looking at this right now that's frothing at the mouth, having a seizure because Andre Karolinko is on the same tier with like Terry Cummings, just know there's going to be like 40 cards separating them in rank, okay? Obi Toppin, I like Obi Toppin. I don't think he's quite B tier. You could argue he's B tier, but I think like high C tier makes sense. Flash Anthony Davis, D. He's just outdated. Same with Zion. Like I would throw them both in D tier. I didn't like this Zion when he came out, honestly. I would throw him lower than Boozer. I'd run Boozer over him for sure. Moments Miles Bridges. Yeah, I mean he's alright D. Beast Anthony Davis, I would say C tier as well. Just because you can't give him some pretty marquee shooting badges, and I think that is kind of important. NBA 75 AD, even though he's got regular jump shot timing and stuff, is still B tier though. Like he's still very good. I don't know if I'd probably use AD over Pau Gasol and Sharif. I probably would. McDice is really solid, but C tier. He was one of those cards that we used due to lack of depth at a position. You know what I mean? There's going to be like Larry Hughes is a great example of that kind of card where people hype that card and have kind of fond memories of it just because the position was so shallow that we were just clasping for anything. You know what I mean? Austin Crocier, D. He's all right. Pascal Siakam. Obo Siakam's still good enough to be B tier. If this card could have played small forward, that would have been great, but he's still like a decent power forward. Jeff Green. He's outdated, but he's like the best card in F tier, I think. LaMarcus Aldridge. This card's pretty good. I think this card didn't get enough love for sure. He's, once again, I'm going to use another analogy, but he's just like worse Pau Gasol, basically. Karl Malone, dude, this card's actually pretty good. Karl Malone this year is the best he's been in any 2K in a while, at least as far as I'm concerned. Big Blake is pretty not good. C tier. This is the land of the mid grade cards in C tier. Jonathan Isaac, I got to put him in C tier. He's still such an overpowered Sapphire that there's no reason to drop him any further. This Obi Toppin, D. Just Sean Tate. I mean, he's actually not that bad, but he's a 6'4" power forward, so that's not ideal. Thaddeus Young, I like this card a lot. Sue me. Blake Griffin. I think Blake is A tier. I don't think he's quite S tier because I don't think he's as good as the guys that are going to be in S tier. I'm going to keep him at the very top of A tier. I would rank it as such. It's tough. This Blake I would put in like D tier. It's just outdated. Bob Nedelicki, S. Yeah, I would say S tier. Elite jump shot. There's just nothing this card doesn't really do. So I mean, S tier makes sense. I would feel like that's universally accepted. Michael Porter Jr. I mean, he's a day one guard, but he's better than a lot of these guys and more useful. Diamond Larry Bird, D. Bob Pettit. It is. Oh, I'm gonna put him in C tier, but it's really. It's hard for me to not put my boy Bob Pettit in B tier just for his hairy chest alone. This Bob Pettit's like Jerry Lucas, yeah, F. Paul Silas, another fondly remembered card. Outdated, so I'd put him in D tier, but if you have a batched up one, just like Aaron Gordon, probably C tier somewhere. Bojan's pretty bad, F. Bull. Just due to his player build, he's A tier, 100%. But I do think he's one of the most overrated cards this year for sure. I feel like he doesn't move really that well, but he is ridiculous on the boards, man. I would put him in A, yeah. Scotty Barnes. I like this card a lot, but his jump shot's kind of ugly, and I know a lot of people hate it, but he plays great defense. I'm going to put him here. Batum. This is my guy for so long. Oh, man. I really hope we get a new Batum card. He'd be an excellent shooting guard this year. Ruby Bowl, I would throw in D tier as well. Robert Horry. He's a decent sharpshooter. I would throw him in like low C tier. Serge Ibaka. Yeah, that's my guy. Yes. The budget demon for so many people for a while. Serge Ibaka is still really solid. Luis Scola, yeah, he's not very good. Pretty bad jump shot. There's not a whole lot to like with Luis Scola, but he's still like top D tier. Boris Diaw, C. Once again, another card. Like if we get another Batum and Diaw, that would be fantastic. Ryan Scalabrine, oh yeah, Scalabrine gets D tier for sure. No question. Calvin Nat, really solid. He's just outdated. I kind of want to get another Calvin Nat card just so I can actually use him. I couldn't get this card to save my life. Cam Johnson, oh, he's actually a really good defender. Plays really well at the small forward and has just the most elite afro. Charlie Villanueva, oh man, I can't disrespect my boy Charlie V, but he's got to go over here in D tier. He can space the floor. That's about it. Chimezie Metu. I actually like this card. I think it's pretty good. I used him in limited last week. Still holds up. Iced out Chris Bosh. I think this card is one of the more slept on cards in the game, but I still think just with his normal jump shot timing and being a little bit outdated, he's C tier. That being said, I feel like this card never got the respect it deserves, but I feel like that's how it is every time we get a high up Chris Bosh. Christian Laettner, this one hurts. Being the unofficial mascot of the channel, it does sting. I'm gonna put him at the top of C tier. It's my list. I'll do what I want. Chris Webber. Chris Webber's just like better Kenyon Martin, basically. I would say he's like over here somewhere. You could argue he's better than Powell. I just like Powell due to his size. Clark Kellogg. Yeah, he's like trash, probably. Cliff Robinson. He's outdated, but I would still say he's C tier. Belinka. Yeah, Belinka is super bad. I don't care what anyone says. Dan Issel. Yeah, hot take, dude. I think Dan Issel is still B tier. Low B tier, but B tier nonetheless. Like, if you get mad about B tier right now, I don't know what to say because I think all these cards are relatively equal. They're just for different play styles. I think they definitely belong in the same tier. Danny Ferry. Yeah, I'm going to put him in B tier, and inevitably somebody's going to get mad about that, but I really don't think he's on the level of like Josh Smith, Bol, Blake Griffin, and Karl Malone, unfortunately. Danny Manning. I like Danny Manning, but this card kind of sucks. To be honest, he's just kind of there. He's a good spot up shooter, and he plays defense. He's got a good player build. That's about it. This Danny Manning's pretty bad. I would say, yeah, I mean, he came out day one. Dario Saric, yeah, trash. A lot of day one cards in here. There's not a lot of trash current day power forwards. There's not a lot of trash current day cards, period, to be honest. Dave DeBusschere. Oh yeah, Dave's solid. He's just a little bit small, but he can really hold it down. David West. This card's another one that I think people didn't give a chance, but David West was actually pretty good. Dennis Rodman. I'm not disrespecting my boy Glitch Rodman like that. He's going in D. This Dennis Rodman by Cliff Robinson, I would say. This one a little bit higher because you can give him shooting badges and stuff. This card was pretty good for a little bit. Derek Jones Jr. High D tier. I don't really like this card. Dunktober Dirk F. It's not his fault. Juwan Howard. I hate Juwan Howard, dude. F tier. I'm speeding through this. Speed round this time. Just because this video would be 67 minutes long if I took my time. Pink Diamond Dirk. D. Invincible Dirk's about to be a nightmare. I wonder what jump shot they're going to give him. I bet they give him jump shot 4. Big Dolph. I would say B. Borderline A tier. He's just not the greatest movement wise. That's the only thing wrong with him. And also he's super expensive. So I'm going to dock him some points for being ridiculously overpriced. Yeah, I just don't know if it's even worth grabbing Dolph when I would say Josh Smith is of equal value as far as like how good they are. But Josh Smith costs 6,000 MT and Dolph Schayes costs like 150K. Tom Chambers, for the mullet alone, you get C tier, but he's actually pretty decent as well. This Dolph, I would say, is still C tier, both of them. Yeah, I would say there's no way they're not. I mean, they're super outdated, but the jump shot's clean and he moves relatively well. And most of them that you find on the marketplace are at least semi-badged up. So, Diamond Sabonis, D. Pink Diamond Sabonis, also D. I just hate this card. You could argue that it's C tier. I'm just, whatever. Donyell Marshall, God. People really hated this card, but I always get him in draft, and I hoop at a relatively solid level. Rodman's trash tier. It's not really his fault. Dougie McBuckets, dude. McBuckets is definitely C tier. This dude rebounds surprisingly well. Don't ask me why. I don't understand what it is. As a Bulls fan, it kind of pains me to do this, but he's good. Draymond is still worthy of C tier marketing for sure. Once again, a card that I used for a while, and I hope we get a new Draymond relatively soon with a very quick jump shot because he'll still be a fantastic card. And I just really hope he can play small forward. For whatever reason, they never let my man Draymond play small forward. I don't know if we've gotten a small forward Draymond card that I'm aware of. If we have, comment down below. I just don't know if we have. It'd be cool to see one, though, this year. Elvin Hayes is pretty bad, but he's a really good defender and attacks the rim, plays interior. He just can't shoot. Evan Mobley. I actually think this card is still legitimately a top tier B tier card. Like 7 foot tall. I prefer this Evan Mobley to the shooting guard Evan Mobley 100%. I'll say that firmly. Like I really do. I just prefer him at the power forward. I think his skill set suits it. This Evan Mobley, I mean, he's all right. Yeah, like D. I would say over here somewhere. He's probably like one of the better cards in D tier, being that he's an amethyst and so useful. George McGinnis. Can we get a new George McGinnis card? Honestly, he shouldn't even be on this list, but I forgot him. Pink Diamond Giannis. All right, people are going to get upset, but I mean, he's just super outdated at this point. Like, C. You can give him any shooting badge in the game. So if you have a badged up one, he's probably like B tier somewhere, though. Like, realistically. People are going to be upset about AD too, but I really don't care. Beast Giannis for sure going to be top of B tier. In the right hands, sure, he's A tier, but for the majority of the player base, I would say he's B tier. Probably the best card in B tier, but B tier nonetheless. Glenn Big Baby Davis, D. Jay Crowder, D. Jamal Mashburn. He's pretty decent. I'd put him by like Dougie McBuckets. Yeah. Aaron Gordon, oh yeah, B tier, no question. Not quite ranked as high as Josh Smith, but this card is really solid. I would put him by like Sharif Abdul-Rahim. This card is awesome. They gave us 2 really, really good 4s like in the last set. Pink Diamond Jamal Mashburn, outdated. James Worthy, S. I would say S for sure. I'm always a fan of James Worthy anyway. I like his player build, like his jump shot. I like everything about James Worthy. And they kind of comboed it with the fact that he's a really overpowered card this year. I might move Big Blake up because Big Blake is stupid as well. But I think he's going to have the least longevity out of all those guys. Larry Nance, C. Elton Brand, he's D tier objectively, but he does suck. Pink Diamond James Worthy is just kind of outdated, so I put him in D. Same with Diamond Jaren Jackson, but he's still good. Jared Vanderbilt. I mean, if we get a new Vanderbilt card, that's going to be cool, but I don't think he's really good. Draymond, other Draymond. Yeah, it's like right here somewhere. Jerry Lucas. I would put him by like Dolph Shades. He's slow and sluggish, but he's decent. He can shoot moderately well. I'd throw him right here. He plays okay defense too. Um, I forgot who his dynamic duo is with. Who is it? Oh, it's Oscar Robertson. It's actually a pretty good duo, honestly. Yee, I like Yee, but he's outdated, I would say. Kind of a slow jump shot. He needs badges to really keep it going. Yeah, I just feel like these three are causing me problems, like mental anguish. Beast Josh Smith is definitely up here in C tier for sure. Julius Randle deserves low C tier, though he isn't really that good, I will say. Some people hoop with him, though. Keldon Johnson is just small. But technically speaking, he's really solid, so I'm going to throw him there. Pink Diamond KG is outdated, but I would throw him towards the back end of C tier. Remember, they are ranked in the damn tier, okay? They're ranked in the tier, all right? JT Thor. Oh, yeah, JT Thor is heat. Like, he's actually really good. I would throw him in C tier. Kevin Willis, getting these multiplayer points for Kevin Willis, anybody who watched my stream that, was an absolutely nightmarish like task, but I did it. I don't know, do I get brownie points for that? It's cool. Bob Pettit, this Bob Pettit, yeah, pretty trash. I would say D tier. Anton Jameson, C. Rudy, this one kind of breaks my heart, but B. As much as I want to put him in A tier, it's not realistic. I would throw him in B tier. I think objectively, Evan Mobley is better. I think for the majority of people, Danny Ferry is probably better. Giannis, it depends. I think at the power forward, he's better than Rudy for sure. I think overall, Rudy is a little bit more useful. And then Dolph Shays, I think, is better than Rudy as well. So, LaFonso Ellis, D. I hope we get a new LaFonso Ellis pretty soon. Billy Cunningham's probably D too. I like the card, but I'll put him in D tier. Larry Bird. I mean, Opal Bird's objectively middle C tier, though he's kind of suffers from the same problems as the Pink Diamond, just slightly better. Larry Johnson needs a new card ASAP. Like, we need a shooting guard Larry Johnson as quick as humanly possible. This Lowry Markkanen, I mean, honestly, he's not really that much different than this one. He's definitely worse, but like the same tier. Marvin Bagley. Okay, this one's going to be a hot take, but I think because he's such a dominant, like, amethyst big man, that he deserves a low C tier for that. I would throw him with the amethyst crew over here with Chuma and Thaddeus Young. Mo Lucas, man, this card was so hot in the streets for like a little bit. Miles Bridges. Where is Keldon Johnson and let's see, where's Keldon Johnson? I know I put him in here. Here we go. He's all right. He's just a little bit small. Otis Thorpe, he should not be here as well, so I'd throw him in F tier. Like, these two base set guys, I should have scrubbed with the rest of them. I just didn't see it. Somebody's going to get their undies in a bunch. Notice how I used a general neutral term. I think I said general neutral. Gender. Pat Burke. He's C tier. I know he's freeze and DBG loves him. So people are going to say he's B tier, but he's just, I don't think he is. He's like C tier. Like, sorry. Paul Millsap, yeah, I would say C tier as well. He's not very good. This Paul Millsap, D, low D. Penny Hardaway. I think he's good enough that he gets C tier. He's just small. I can't say that someone like Chuma, who's 6'6", or someone like, I believe Keldon Johnson is also 6'6", deserve to be in C tier, and Penny doesn't. I think Penny is good enough and he plays solid enough defense, and he actually deserves to be a bit higher. Like, he's actually good. And you can run him as the point forward. You can kind of switch some things around and you can run him. It just takes a lot of work. PJ Tucker, he's 6'5", but he holds it down, dude. I like PJ a lot. Wish they would let my boy PJ play shooting guard. I would use him. Richard Lewis, solid. Yeah, really good sharpshooting wing. Rick Barry, I hate Rick Barry. This one's objectively not too bad. But the fact that he's this expensive makes me want to drop him to D tier, but I can't in good faith. This one's F tier. Rick Barry. Rick Barry sucks. Robert Horry is like, this is like F. Ronnie. D tier. He's got a good jump shot. I'm sorry. Pink Diamond Rudy. It breaks my heart to do this, but Pink Diamond Rudy deserves to be the top of B tier. Salute, old friend. I'm sorry. I mean, there's literally an opal up here. We're gonna get a dark matter in like 2 weeks. Ruri's F tier. He came out. I think I keep saying Ruri like Ruri. I know it's Rui. I don't know how to pronounce it, to be honest. Scotty Barnes. B. Scotty Barnes is fantastic. I mean, I'm almost considering putting him in A tier. I think the only thing that's stopping me is he's a wee bit small, but I don't even think that's really an issue. I'm almost considering putting him in B tier. He's fantastic, straight up. Sean Kemp, I think he's like low B tier. He can still move and he can still get things done. It's just like, I don't think he deserves A tier or anything. Steve Novak, shout out to my boy Steve Novak. Stromile Swift. I waited all this time for a Stromile Swift card just to throw my man in D tier. Oh, how the universe clowns me. Thurl Bailey. Oh yeah, Thurl is A tier. He's one of the best defensive power forwards in the game, no question. I personally like his jump shot. I think he moves pretty well. Just his player build is ridiculous. Like, I would say, if I would rank it, I would rank it like this: Blake, Thurl, Bull, Josh, Karl Malone. Cannot believe Karl Malone's an A tier. Tim Duncan. Oh man, I'm gonna catch flack for this one for sure, but A tier. Tim Duncan is fantastic. The only thing he can't do is dribble. That's it. And it's not even like he can't move with the ball. Like, he's not going to get plucked every 5 seconds. He just can't move in a 2K sense. You know what I mean? Other than that, Tim Duncan is the perfect power forward. Dead serious. He is one of, if not my favorite card in the game. Maxed out Timmy D's. I would say batched up, like C. Regular, D. Tom Chambers, F. Trey Lyles, D tier. Where's the Trey Lyles stand at to get upset? Tyler Hansbrough, Psycho T. He's actually pretty good, but I would throw him by like Pat Berg. He's better though, for sure. Tyrone Hill is pretty bad. I would throw him in F tier. Udonis Haslem, dude, this card is absolutely terrible. He's still objectively better than all the cards in trash tier, but holy dude, he sucks so bad. They never let my man shoot. So annoying. We're at the point where, like, dude, we're getting cards that like should not be able to shoot at all that stroke. Let my man Udonis have a mid-range at least, or like an 82 3-pointer. Wendell Carter, I actually really like Wendell Carter. I'm shocked too, because I typically don't like Wendell Carter cards, but this card's really solid this year. Zach Randolph, D. He's all right. Oh, Zion. This one's tough. I would say there's just no way I can put him up and not put him in S. Like, this card's so stupid. I think at the power forward position, right? I think Zion's down in, probably A tier, low A, mid A, something like that. But at the small forward, he is so dynamic. And I am trying to do more of ranking them in their secondary positions as well. I'm trying to factor that in a little bit more. I do think he's S tier, though. You can make a case that I think Blake deserves to be up here, too, and I would hear you out on that. I just think he's closer to these guys down here than he is to the S tier. If I had to rank it, I would say it's probably like this: Bob, James, Zion. I would say Zion over James. Ooh, it's tough. I like James due to the player build. Thurl Bailey's close. He's just not very good movement-wise, and I know people don't like his jump shot. Bol, I think, is a bit overrated, but he's still A tier. Josh Smith is great. I think I might be overrating him myself, to be honest. Tim Duncan just can't dribble. That's it. Karl Malone, objectively, I might have to drop him. I'm going to keep him up there. He's still really good. Blake is my only, hang up, but I might move Blake up to S. I think he might actually deserve to be up there. He really is good. I'm going to keep him where I'm standing firm. I'm sticking to my guns. As always, it's been your boy Cheap Lutes. Let me know what you think down in the comments. You always do. I'm going to do the center tier list at some point. So, peace.